Welcome everyone to another Edge of Fate Hunter build. Today I'm bringing you a strand version that you guys highly requested in my last video of the Foe Tracer / Verity Relativism Prismatic Hunter build. I want to give a big thanks to all of you guys who commented. I received way more comments than I ever could have imagined, which is why I'm getting this video out a bit quicker than I normally would have. But yeah, this build today is going to go ahead and use the Relativism that has the Spirit of Foe Tracer and Spirit of Verity perks on it. And more specifically, we're going to be catering towards the Strand version of this build. What I mean by that is we're going to be using the Strand abilities, which is the Threaded Spike and the Grapple Grenade, to then go ahead and boost our Strand weapons. The build I bring to you today is, once again, as always, like all my builds, extremely potent in any type of in-game content. The gameplay you're watching right now is me using the build inside of a Mythic difficulty campaign mission. And as you can see, the mission is giving me really no problems at all. In the build I break down in this video and the gameplay you're watching right now, I actually pair Spirit of Foe Tracer / Verity with Mint Retrograde. And that is because, just like Choir of One in my last Void version, Mint Retrograde is a special weapon that does insane amounts of damage, and when paired with the Spirit of Foe Tracer Strand Weapon Boost ×4, this thing hits like a truck. It really truly does feel like a heavy weapon. I then am actually running double special and throwing a Tessellation into the energy slot, and that is just because it is the only energy slot in the game that I personally know of that is a strand weapon, and this is just so we can run 3 strand weapons to make use of that weapons boost from Spirit of Foe Tracer. From there, we're going to take the Relativism and the strand weapons, and we're going to pair it up with the aspects of Ascension and Stylist Executioner. These are going to be our 2 forms of defense in the build, and that is because Ascension is obviously going to give us Amplified, which is a 15% damage reduction, and Stylist Executioner is just going to make it where we can turn Invis on any type of enemy that we kill that is debuffed. And luckily in this build, I have it set up where every time we get an ability kill, whether it's with our Grapple Grenade or our melee, it will make it where our weapons are granted Unraveling Rounds, which will therefore make it where any kill we get, the enemy is going to be unraveled, which makes it where we will turn Invis on every kill that we get. This Relativism with Spirit of Foe Tracer and Spirit of Verity has truly become one of my favorite exotic armor pieces to run in the entire game. I mean, if you couldn't tell, this is my second video that I'm posting in a row using the exact same class item. And that is just because it is so potent, but it also provides an insane amount of variety in terms of build crafting. You can combine so many different things with this class item that I heavily recommend all of you guys go and give it a try. Before I get into the breakdown, I do just want to mention, if you are here from the Void version of the build, you're going to hear me repeat a lot of things from that last video, and that is just because, once again, it's the same type of build. So I'm going to explain everything that I explained in the last video, but hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. So for now, let's go ahead and break down exactly what to run on this build and why we are running what we are running. Alright, so just like the Void version of the build, we're going to go ahead and be using the Relativism that has Spirit of Foe Tracer and Spirit of Verity on it. Spirit of Foe Tracer will make it where when you damage a powerful combatant or a guardian with an ability, it will grant you temporary damage bonus for weapons matching that ability's elements. So just like before, I have a strand weapon equipped. Whenever I damage a yellow/orange bar target, I will now get a strand weapon bonus ×4, which will increase the damage on all of my strand weapons. Once again, this works with every ability, including our grenade, as well as using our super here. If you look, damaging with our Silk Strike will refresh that strand damage ×4 boost. From there, we're gonna go ahead and use Spirit of Verity. Once again, this will make it where weapon final blows with a damage type matching your grenade will grant a stacking grenade damage bonus and improved grenade regeneration. So with a strand grenade equipped and a strand weapon equipped, if you go ahead and look, every time I get a kill, I get 1 stack there of death throws in the left. And every time I get another kill, it'll basically add another stack. From there, at max stacks, it'll increase how much our grenade actually does, as well as how much regen that we get for our grenade. And just to show you the actual damage increase that it will give us, if we go ahead and look at my Grapple Grenade with 0 type of damage boost, we're gonna go ahead and do 936 damage. And if we go ahead and take a look at the grenade at max death throws, we do around 2500 there. Obviously, I created a whole bunch of hatchlings, so the number's skewed, but it looked like it was around 2500, which is a huge increase. So obviously, since we're running Spirit of Foe Tracer and Spirit of Verity in a strand version of the build, we're going to want to run these strand abilities. So go ahead and throw on Threaded Spike and Grapple Grenade. We're then going to pair that up with Gambler's Dodge. So every time we do use our class ability, we'll obviously get our Threaded Spike back. Now for weapons that I found that work best in the strand version of the build that pair with this really well is, personally, I am running a kind of double special ammo setup. I'm running Mint Retrograde and Tessellation because, once again, Tessellation does kind of change its element based on what subclass you're on. I prefer this setup just because it is a way to basically have 3 strand weapons so that we always are taking advantage of the strand weapon boost times 4. If you don't like this setup, obviously you can honestly fit any strand weapon into this build. I have tried out every single one of these strand weapons and they all work beautifully. I think other than the double special setup, my favorite had to have either been Barodiad or Final Warning probably. But back to what I personally prefer on my Mint Retrograde, I really like something like One for All or Hatchling, and that is just because we are using Mint Retrograde once again just for pure ad clear. If we go ahead and look at our Mint Retrograde, one burst is already doing around 1300 damage, so the gun itself on its own is already really good. But if we go ahead and proc strand weapon boost times 4, we are now going to hit for 1600. And once again, this is a full auto rocket burst pulse rifle, so we can just spam it like crazy. And so Foe Tracer plus combined, if you do have the One for All roll that I have here, One for All does provide an additional 35% damage. You're going to be doing a whole butt ton of damage using a special weapon. From there, if I'm using Mint Retrograde, I like to throw in Tessellation once again, just because it is a strand option in the energy slot, which I believe is the only strand weapon you can run here. But on top of that, if we go ahead and actually use the function that Tessellation has, where we can put our grenade into the gun and do a bunch of damage, it will absolutely nuke things. If you can see there, it did around like 3600, something like that, just off of one shot. And of course, it also has the benefit of basically a better version of Demolition, where getting kills with it will grant you grenade energy. I believe it gives you something like 20% to your grenade ability per every kill or around there. So basically just get a like 3 to 5 kills and you will have your grenade back. From there, once again, in your heavy slot, whatever you prefer, just run something strand. I have personally gone with this Heliatus here. I have Bipod and Envious Assassin, and this thing is nice because if you do play your cards right, as you can see, I have 6 total rockets in my weapon, which is very fun. Now for the rest of the subclass, we kind of have all of our offensive tools out of the way. We're using our obviously Foe Tracer and Verity with our abilities and our strand weapons. Now for defense, we're going to go into our aspects here and we're going to use Ascension and Stylist Executioner. Ascension, for those of you who don't know, just makes it where we have this weird little air ability thing that we can do that will consume our class ability. And the reason why it's really good is because it not only jolts targets underneath us, but it will apply Amplified to us, which for those of you who don't know is a 15% damage reduction. Now on top of that, like I mentioned, we're going to be running Stylist Executioner. Stylist Executioner just basically makes it where you turn invis on any kill on an enemy that is debuffed. And luckily, both of our abilities do debuff. So basically every time we get a melee kill or a grapple grenade kill, we will turn invis. Then on top of that, we're going to be combining that with the Facet of Bravery Prismatic Fragment. This will basically make it where whenever we get powered melee final blows, it will grant unraveling rounds to our strand weapons. And so every time we get a kill with our power and melee, it will grant us unraveling rounds in the buff section to the left. I did not expect my melee to get that many kills. That was crazy. But luckily, grapple grenade actually counts as a powered melee. So anytime we do get a kill with our grapple grenade, it will also give us unraveling rounds. So when you do have unraveling rounds equipped, basically makes it where any kill that you get, the person is going to be unraveled and you will just turn invis on them. Now for the rest of our fragments, we're going to go ahead and throw on Facet of Purpose. In this build, we're going to be running the Silk Strike Super. So this will basically make it where every time we do pick up an Orb of Power, it will grant us Woven Mail. We're then going to want to run a Facet of Hope, where when we have an elemental buff, our class ability will regenerate more quickly. And like I mentioned before here, we're always going to have Woven Mail or Ascension. We're going to have some form of combination from it. So therefore, we will always have increased class ability regeneration. And then for the final fragment, we're going to run Facet of Balance. This will make it where when we rapidly defeat targets with darkness damage, it will grant us grenade energy. And in this build, every single kill we're going to get is pretty much going to be a darkness type of kill. So therefore, we will be granting ourselves a whole bunch of grenade energy. Now for the artifact perks, there are going to be a whole bunch that will absolutely benefit this build. So I'm going to try to make this quick and easy for you. So sorry if you do get a little bit lost or confused during this section. First things first, you're going to want Tightly Woven. This makes it when while we have Woven Mail, we gain increased class ability and grenade stats. We're going to want Threadling Proliferation. Dealing strand weapon damage has the chance to spawn a Threadling. And defeating strand debuff targets increases this chance. Every single enemy we attack is pretty much going to be unraveled because of unraveling rounds. So we are going to be spawning a whole bunch of Threadlings using this artifact perk. We're then going to combine that with this other artifact perk called Pack Tactics, where dealing damage with Threadlings increases your Threadling damage. And then when at maximum stacks of Pack Tactics, your Threadlings will stun unstoppable champions. If you are going to run this build inside of a fire team activity, you're going to want to run Elemental Benevolence. This makes it where whenever you grant allies an elemental buff, it'll grant you class ability energy. You're also going to want Refresh Threads. This basically just makes it where at any time we do pick up one of the tangles that we will create, it'll grant us ability energy for our least charged ability. You're also going to want Started Blast, where destroying a tangle with strand damage will increase the radius of its explosion and also its damage. In the final column, you're going to want Shield Crush. This makes it where whenever we do have our Woven Mail, we gain increased melee recharge rate and it'll deal increased damage. That will benefit our Grapple Grenade as well, because it is considered a powered melee on top of being a grenade. And then anytime we are amplified, our grenade will also recharge faster and deal increased damage. And finally, last but not least, you're going to want Tangled Web, where creating a tangle by defeating a strand debuff target will suspend nearby combatants. That was a lot. Thank you for sticking with me to the end of that. So before I get into armor stats and armor mods, I'm just going to basically show you a quick little preview of everything that I have talked about all together combined into one little gameplay section. Basically, you just find a yellow bar, hit them with any one of your abilities, and you will then grant yourselves Unraveling Rounds as well as Strand ×4. And from there, you just lay into them with your insanely juiced up strand weapons. And obviously with all the artifact perks and stuff, you'll create a whole bunch of these little thread links. All right, real quick, before we get into armor stats, I do want to actually talk about an armor set bonus that if you're running this exact double special build that I'm running, I highly recommend you use. And that is going to go ahead and be the Last Discipline armor set. This is the armor set you get from Zavala. If you just go talk to him, he has like a little armor section where you can buy like a piece or 2 pieces of armor per week. And one of the armor sets there gives you this Last Discipline armor set bonus. Basically, you're going to want the 4-piece version of this. We're making it where picking up an Orb of Power will grant you special ammo progress. This once again will just basically help us make it where we will never ever run out of special ammo. But if you don't have the armor set bonus for this, it's not make or break. It's not going to ruin the double special of the build. It'll just help a lot. All right, for your stat distribution, you're going to want a couple of things. First things first, you obviously need at least bare minimum 100 grenade stat. This is just because this is a grenade focused build, so you're going to want that grapple grenade up as much as possible. On top of that, I recommend running weapon stat at least at 100 for that extra 15% bonus damage. From there, the rest of my stats aren't the best, and that's just because, once again, my 4-piece armor set using Last Discipline doesn't have the best of stats. But from there, I recommend you spec either into class stat or melee stat. One thing to note too is do not be afraid to juice your grenade stat as high as possible, just so we can increase the amount of damage our grenade does. I personally, with my armor stats right now, don't really have a way to boost it too much, but if you have that as an option for yourselves, please feel free to make your grenade stat as high as possible. Now for your armor mods, I'm going to show you 2 setups. The first setup is going to be if you are running the exact double special version of the build that I am currently running, and that is because these mods are all based around getting special ammo as quick as possible. And then I'm going to show you a second version of mods that I would run if I wasn't running double special and I was running one of these like strand weapons or exotics. So first things first, for the double special version of the build, go ahead and run double special ammo finder, and then go ahead and throw on Harmonic Siphon. On the arms, throw on Heavy Handed, Grenade Font, and Focusing Strike. For your chest piece, throw on Charged Up and 2 copies of Harmonic Ammo Generation. On the boots, I recommend a Weapons Font as well as Innervation and Harmonic Scavenger. And last but not least, on the class, you go ahead and run Class Font, Reaper, and Bomber. Quick summary of what these mods do is just basically going to make it where anytime we do get kills with our strand weapons, they will have an increased benefit to how much special ammo progress they grant, as well as anytime we do actually grab ammo using our strand weapons, they will get increased ammo. We then also have it set up where whenever we do have armor charge, we'll get grenade stat, weapon stat, and class stat, as well as making it where every strand weapon kill or our powered melee kills will grant us orbs of power. And then just in case you aren't running the double special version of the build, here is what I would recommend for these stats. So feel free to pause the video and just copy these down as well. But yeah, that right there was the entire strand version of this build. Once again, thanks a lot for all of the comments recommending and asking for this. I did not expect that many people to actually want the strand version of this build that quick. If you got lost at all or confused or have any questions, please feel free to drop them down below in the comments. If I don't respond to you, I'm sure someone will. But for now, let's go ahead and take this build into some live gameplay for you. So for this build, I'm actually going to go ahead and take it into the exact same solo ops that I took the Void one in, just so in case you saw that video, you can kind of compare the 2 builds. And that is going to be the K1 Logistics with the modifiers I've applied. We're going to go ahead and be 58 light under for this run. So first things first, when I spawn in, I actually like to chuck one of my grapple grenades into my tessellation. Then from there, let's just go hunt down a group of enemies and find a yellow bar to hit with my threaded spike to get some insane weapon damage. Like that group of enemies. Go ahead and have fun with that. No, he dodged my melee. Oh, whatever. Good enough. Mint Retrograde does enough damage to absolutely fry these enemies on their own, luckily. Alright, where are the anti-bears? Oh, I completely passed one of the anti-bears I needed. We gotta go all the way back. Where you at? There you are. All right, let's go ahead and load that into the tessellation. Use this to get some of our melee energy back. I probably should have done it closer to him so it refunded my full melee energy, but that is whatever. All right, so I'm gonna hit you with this, get ×4. Hit you with the tessellation. Oh, no, I was gonna try to hit you with tessellation until you completely dodged it. Go ahead and break that. And now lay into you using this. Go and put your shield back up for me. Thank you. All right, now we're gonna load our grenade back into this. Hit him with that, and this should be enough to finish him off. Perfect. All right, first anti-barrier down. All right, does that take him out? No, it doesn't. Whatever, we're gonna go in for the finish. All right, second anti-barrier down. And luckily, with Stylus Executioner, I can kind of get to safety before all those people immediately make me explode. Put your shield up for me, please. All right, thank you. This should be enough to kill him. We go in for the finish. All right, beautiful. Why is he just ore farming on top of that pillar? Does that kill him? No. Is he an invincible ore farmer? Oh no. Okay, we're good. All right. I don't even think we have to kill the brig, but for the love of the game, I'm just gonna kill the brig. All right, brig down. And now on to the hallway until we get to the boss fight. All right, come in here. Melee you guys. Luckily, that creates a tangle and suspends people. All right, where are you at? There you are. Go ahead and hit you with that. Pop that, and we're gonna lay into you with my rockets. If you don't move too much. All right, I just realized. Oh no, I'm crumbling. Hey, there we go. I landed one of them. Please stand still. Please stand still. All right, this is not gonna work. I have made a grave mistake bringing a rocket into this boss fight. Yep, yeah, okay. Oh man, no! Alright, we'll just finish you off using tessellation. This should do enough damage. It did. Alright, beautiful. Alright, let's go ahead and load that into that. Hit you with that and that. He matrixed it. Okay. All right. Luckily, I can use the rocket on you because I'm not really going to need this ammo for the boss. Perfect. All right. Anti-barrier down. Put your shield up. Oh, no. I have to reload. Good enough. That should be enough to kill him. All right. Cool. Third anti-barrier down. Let's go ahead and get up out of this lost sector and kill this boss. Mint Retrograde has done the job. Boom, there we go. K1 Logistics at Grandmaster difficulty, -58 power level, complete. So that right there was the entire Strand version of the Spirit of Foe Tracer and Spirit of Verity build. And thank you so much for the support on the Void version and the amount of comments requesting this Strand version. It was way more than I ever could have imagined, which is why I got this video out way quicker than I normally do. As always, if you made it this far, feel free to comment any build you'd like to see down below that I might make a video on in the future. If you are new here and you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. We're on the road to 5,000 subs, so I would greatly appreciate your support. Now, in terms of what build do I prefer out of the Void and Strand, and to be honest, I don't think there's a clear winner. And that is because Spirit of Foe Tracer kind of absolutely just makes any weapon you use it with insane, which is why I kind of lean towards using special weapons in both of these builds. And that's just because you can turn a special weapon pretty much into a heavy ammo weapon using Spirit of Foe Tracer. Yes, I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but hey, just let me be. But as always, I have the dim link in the description for the build, and that's gonna be it for me. If you made it this far, I love your face, and all you fine ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your day.